So, y'all ever play Toontown? If you're watching this video, then I'm going to assume that you already know what Toontown is. Many of my subscribers found this channel in the first place because of this Disney MMO from the early 2000s. But if you're brand new here, would you believe me if I told you that Toontown was still around? You can say no. It's not that believable. But in fact, it is still here and arguably better than ever. There's new players joining it every single day and it updates rather frequently. So maybe I'm the crazy one, but I think that Toontown is actually doing way better than many AAA games are doing right now. And if you disagree, that's perfectly okay, but let me tell you why I think that first, and then you can leave a comment, alright? Promise me you won't leave a comment until after I'm done talking? Promise? Let's get this straight though, I don't actually think that every AAA title is bad. Nintendo tends to hit it out of the park. I mean, the most recent Paper Mario remake was fire. Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year, and so did Elden Ring, which is getting a brand new DLC soon for more people to rage over.
It actually unstunned itself!
But then we also have other games that just weren't well received at all, like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, Forspoken, and, oh god, the first ever quadruple A title, Skull and Bones. I could do a whole video about that, but everybody else already has, and this video is about Toontown. Obviously. But with there being such a discrepancy at how these games are seen by consumers, how come they all cost relatively the same price? What is truly the value of a game anymore? When it comes to video game design, it's actually very similar to that of film or music. It's an art form, and it's generally trying to bring someone's vision to life that they're very passionate about, and they're taking it to a medium that they can fully express it. Basically, you can tell when somebody's making something because they actually care about it, versus making something just for the sake of making it. Kind of like when I was in high school and I dreaded having to write a 2-page paper on the Industrial Revolution. However, I can stay up past midnight for 4 days in a row to edit this video. But also like film and music, that vision begins to muddle when greedy corporations stick their grubby little hands in the artist's work and mess around with the details that end up destroying the integrity of the story. And you can really tell when something is made with the root intention being to make money, because it's not good, like at all.
Cars? Cars!
As much as we see that in music and movies, it can be seen in gaming too, when one game is a success and now every other game has to look like that game. Do you remember in 2018 when Fortnite was all the rage and then every other game had to have a battle royale? Even ones that didn't make sense to have a battle royale? They made a Mario battle royale. Huh? I mean, it was fun, don't get me wrong, but like, why? Even Fortnite started as someone's passion project and made updates and changes that were fun. And then somewhere along the way, they diverted from that path so they can emphasize selling you Star Wars and Marvel skins. I was watching the PlayStation State of Play the other day, and the very first game they showed was like super heavily inspired by Overwatch. Which, okay, not a big deal, right? But then later in the same showcase, they had another game that was also super heavily inspired by Overwatch. And later, while I was on Twitter, not X, I refuse to call it X, I got an ad for another game that is a Star Wars IP that is also modeled after Overwatch. Why are there so many Overwatch clones all of a sudden? And that's crazy to me because like Overwatch peaked years ago. It's being trashed by its own fan base.
This game is as lazy as it gets, Blizzard. What the hell?
But it's like at this point, they don't even try to hide the fact that the core of the games that they're making are based off of trying to make money with ridiculous microtransactions and different outrageous tiers of game editions. And the consumers aren't dumb. We're not dumb, we notice these things. But I've been talking long enough, so how does Toontown fit into all of this? Well, it's very ironic that the basis of Toontown is very anti-capitalistic, where the bad guys are depicted as businessmen like the Big Cheese or the Moneybags. Some say this cog was actually modeled after the president of EA. But rewind to when Disney owned Toontown in the early 2000s, and there were subtle signs of greed sprinkled throughout the game. Toontown Online was a subscription-based game, so you had to pay monthly for it, and to maximize their profits, they made sure you had to play for a long time before you could progress certain areas. Like just to finish gardening and fill up your album with all the flowers, it took 3.5 months. If I wanted to spend 3.5 months gardening, I would just go actually garden, like outside.
This sucks.
As the lifespan of the game went on, it floundered with its expansions and updates, leaving the community wanting more. They tried adding something called a field office, and it was practically the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, nobody did them, they plagued the streets, and they were uglier than the new McDonald's look. So in 2013, Disney shutting down the game was probably the best thing for it since it wasn't generating any money and the players weren't happy. But not even a couple years later, some fans of the game essentially took over and recreated it in their own vision. They built the game in a way that they feel like it should have been made by making Toontown Rewritten. I mean, look at the field offices they made. Literally so much better. And the best part is that it's free now. F-R-E-E, that spells free. ToontownRewritten.com, baby. I tried, okay? I tried. The Toontown Rewritten team couldn't be motivated by money because they weren't making any money. It was purely fueled by their love and passion for the game. And that's noticed by the community. Just to give you an idea, in over 10 years of development, they are still pushing out brand new updates. And I would love to show you what they've accomplished in just the past couple months. The Toontown Rewritten team has hosted over a half dozen real-life events for fans, with their most recent one being in Oklahoma City, where hundreds of people showed up just for this small community-run game. And over that same weekend, they simultaneously dropped an update bigger than just about anything the original Toontown has ever done. This is the Under New Management update. This update is famously known for completely revamping the facilities like the factory, the mint, and the other ones. They changed the numbers of how much department XP you earn and how much you need before you can level up. To give you an idea, in the original Toontown Online, you needed to do 14 of the back 9s in order to get the max level up. Each one of these runs takes about an hour to complete, so you're spending 14 hours to be able to go do the boss again once. And at that point, I would still rather be gardening. But now the facility itself has been shortened quite a bit, so it takes less than half the time. And instead of needing 14 for the highest rank up, you only need 4. Just 4. And on top of fiddling with the numbers, they changed the look and the feel of the facilities too. Each one has a brand new supervisor boss at the end, and all of them have their own unique looks, personalities, and battle mechanics, as opposed to literally the bare bones that they had before. They also made the very ambitious choice to rebalance some of the gags that you use in combat. The original Toontown Online had one strategy, and it was to use the sound gag. And that was pretty much it. It was so prominently used, it got to the point where people were being shunned if they didn't carry sound at all. But now, there's been multiple adjustments, such as lowering the amount of sound players can carry, as well as readjusting health and damage numbers to give other attacks room to shine. If you've never played Toontown, this probably won't make any sense to you, but now an organic TNT and an organic piano can each take out a level 12 on their own. And like, Toontown players are ecstatic over that. But I'll be honest, there are still some older players of Toontown that became so Toontown pilled that taking away a couple of their sound gags threw them into a frenzy. But most of the feedback that I've seen is actually pretty in favor of this change. And I would hope so, because imagine having all of these other tools in your arsenal and just never using them. It's like in Pokemon, where you can catch all of these different creatures with unique abilities and attacks, but who cares because you can just beat the whole game with Charizard. Well, how about something new for veteran players? If you're done leveling up all your suits, you can upgrade them to a 2.0 suit now. It starts the level back down to 8, and you can level it up again, and when you max it, you get a brand new outfit. It doesn't take away your ability to do the boss anytime you want, so really there's no downside. And it even gives you a little boost when you're trying to get the new drops from the supervisors. Oh yeah, Toontown has drops now. Whenever you're battling any of the supervisors, you now have a chance of getting a brand new item. This is here forever now, so just keep at it. I'm sure you'll get them eventually. Maybe. And if that's not what you're looking for in new content, just give it a little bit of time. Because in their next major content update, they're adding an entirely new area. They want to have new activities to do, new battles to face, and even Toon floaties. Look at those. They're so cute. I want them so bad. And if you really hate yourself, want a challenge, you can take on the new task they added in case you wanted to change your special reward from their last major update. They let you carry 2 of a chosen level 7 gag, and if you don't like the one you chose, you can do this task, which is pretty simple actually. All you gotta do is defeat 120 cogs in a factory, defeat a VP, defeat 100 100 level 3 plus Lobots and cog buildings, do a cart race, get 8 collectibles from cogs and cog buildings, defeat 30 level 13 plus cogs, do 5 bosses, get 400 jelly beans from the trolley, defeat a mint auditor, get a drop from a level 20 cog, go fishing, do another VP, fish for even more things, fight a Gladhander, find 3 packages in Sellbot HQ, and defeat another 4-star Sellbot field office. See, simple. But it's amazing that a fan-made game after 10 years is still providing more care and updates than many AAA titles are doing after only 10 months. And that's just one Toontown. Oh yeah, there's a second one. There's a whole secondary Toontown server that is doing just as much for their community. Almost everything added in Toontown Rewritten has also been added in Toontown Corporate Clash. Toontown Corporate Clash has been around since 2018 and completely flipped the game on its head with banger after banger update. New playgrounds, new cog fights, new strategies, and just like with Toontown Rewritten, they listen to their community. You want a skip button? You got it. Faster movement speed? Zoom away, my dude. Want a chat log? Never miss a message again. Having trouble choosing an outfit? Have a new clothing grid system. Don't like the gags you chose? They'll change them. Tired of waiting in line? Client-side NPCs, motherfucker. They even revamped some of the old cog designs, giving them new looks and fluid animations to help modernize the game. Look how terrifying this guy is. I love him. But between all of the updates and limited time events, these servers are going above and beyond. They even made plushies, and I bought 3 of them. I mean, I only have 1 of them right now, but the other 2 are on the way. But no matter which Toontown you look at, they're both doing wonders for their community, and I don't see them going away anytime soon. But I'm not going to pretend like the Toontown community is the only community doing this. The truth is, even though Toontown started as a game owned by a major company, what it now better fits is the definition of an indie game. And I really think that indie games are the heart of the gaming industry right now. Those are the developers creating fresh ideas, building new communities, and not asking for microtransactions every 10 minutes. Lethal Company took the world by storm by just having a fun game to play with friends. Palworld might have been branded as a Pokemon knockoff, but it was enjoyed by millions of players. Helldivers 2 exceeded expectations, and they had to continue upping their maximum capacity as players kept flooding in. And Call to the Lamb is just a ton of fun, and I love to shout that game out whenever I can. And it's still making updates! They're making plans for a new one right now. These indie titles are what gamers have been flocking to and have been the true backbone of the industry as of late. I think indie games have always had loving, supportive, and more importantly, passionate people behind them. But because of the obvious greed that's poisoned the gaming industry, the indie scene has really stepped up to fill that void. So that's why indie games, as well as communities like Toontown, are absolutely crushing AAA gaming right now. So all in all, play more Toontown. It's free, so there's no reason not to. And buy a plushie. So if you're interested in more details that came out in that Toontown update I referred to, you can watch this video right here because I go over it more in detail. And thank you to all these people over here for supporting the channel, helping my dreams come true, and funding this video. Thank you. Dance with me, duck shuffler. Do 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 do.